B-Bad and Brandon.
I am Johnny B-Bad, my host, who isn't here today. This is him here, Brandon Greco, mate. Coming all the way from Brisbane, Australia, mate. And if I'm not wrong, Phoenix for you in the US.
Right, Phoenix, Arizona. You got it.
Right, mate. And it's evening for you.
It's for about 4:15 p.m. Yeah.
Sweet,
Thursday.
sweet, bro.
I'm a day behind you, so it's Thursday here.
Mate, every time we have one of these conversations with someone overseas, mate, I keep trying to get my head around time travel, and it absolutely does my head in.
Yeah, for sure. I kept looking. I'm like, because my phone was telling me we're 17 hours apart, but I'm like, I'm not 17 hours, but it was looking forward for me. Like, I won't be your time in 17 more hours.
Yeah. Oh, mate, trying to juggle it is just silly. Like, I think to get this one right, I sent it to Brando. I said, Brando, I'm sure this is right. And then I've Googled it 6 times. And I was like, I still woke up this morning nervously thinking, man, I've messed up the times.
Yeah, I had Australia in my phone as a time zone anyway, so I figured. But I don't know, is your whole country on the same time zone? Like, we have 3 or 4 time zones across the U.S. at any given time.
The answer, yes, we're on different time zones but at the most is 2 hours.
Okay.
So it's not too crazy.
Yeah.
So over in WA is the guys that have got a little bit of, I don't know where they are, behind in front of us, or
I see.
one of those two. I don't even want to pretend to understand. But, mate, you, sir, Apeman Strong, the Apeman Strong, co-founder of, mate, we have not a lot of direction to these things, but we do have one question, and it is 21 sounds, who you are and what you do. I've already given a hint, but I count the sounds. So if you cough, burp, and they are also counted within those 21 words too. Are you ready?
I only have 21 words to say who I am and what I do. I have to hit exactly 21? Like it's like a math problem?
Yeah, buddy. No pressure.
Who's counting the words?
These fingers. I've got a C in maths.
I like to talk. Right,
excellent.
See. My name is Adam Field. I am with Apeman Strong. I'm co-founder with my brother, Noah.
That's it.
We're
Damn, bro.
Based in the U.S. I don't know how many. What number am I at?
You nailed it.
Okay.
That's unreal, man. For those, I mean, the brand is well known. I absolutely love it. I also own a gym as well. There's people always running around in your stuff, but it might not be known by everyone, bro. Tell us a little bit about Apeman Strong. When did it start for you?
We started Apeman Strong at the end of 2014. So it's been about, I think we sold our first shirt October 25th, 2014. So we're coming up on 7 years now. 7 years, I guess, this October.
Damn, that's pretty cool. What was your first shirt? I
think the Lift Angry was the first shirt that, I was thinking about this today because I knew I had this podcast coming up. So, before we ever did the shirt business, or before I ever got involved in Apeman Strong, I was in commercial real estate. I did real estate for like 20 years after college, here in Arizona mainly, but in other states as well across the US. And it was the crash of 2008, the real estate crash. It kind of set me on this course to finding this new company, Apeman Strong, with my brother. It's just like the market got decimated that I knew and I was making money in, which was real estate and finance. And I struggled for several years trying to keep it afloat and save my house and my financial well-being and my credit and things like this. And finally at the end sort of 2014, I just kind of left that world behind and started this Apeman Strong. I was in this like real, I guess more like a frustrated or angry place in my life, just about what had gone on in my career and like the whole economy and everything. And it's very similar probably to what a lot of people feel right now coming through the COVID and the lockdowns, and people's businesses are going under, and here in the US. And I think you guys are even locked down maybe stricter than we are in Australia. So yeah, I was kind of coming through that similar, it feels like that a little bit now, where you're like frustrated with how the economics are looking if you own a business or a gym like you. And so that Lift Angry shirt was just kind of where I was.
That was just getting
mentally in that time. We had a gym here in the building we're in now. My brother and I built this little gym with like free weights we had gotten from like Craigslist and stuff like that, just like donations.
Nice.
I would just in the afternoons, before we even had 8-Man, just kind of during that last year of me still trying to do real estate, and before we started this, we'd come down in the afternoons. I'd meet my brother down here and we would lift weights, and I would get out that frustration and that anger and that rage that I had inside. And it was such a positive outlet to weightlifting versus a lot of self-destructive behavior that people tend to get into, which is like alcohol or drugs or whatever to get over like that time. And so the Lift Angry shirt was really just a culmination of that mindset I was in, which was, you know, it was never meant to be a negative, like just be like a dick in the gym and angry. It was more like, use that anger in your life in a positive manner, which is like lifting weights or something like that. So that was our 100%. First shirt, the Lift Angry. And then we had a couple other in that same kind of series in that first year, which was Powered by Rage, Destruction Forces Growth, Brutality Builds Strength. It was all kind of in that same mindset that really worked well in powerlifting and with kind of the mentality of powerlifting. And we just started to grow in that sport. We started sponsoring lifters at meets here in the US and just getting out our apparel for free to whoever wanted to wear it. I remember being super excited. I didn't know anything about the powerlifting world personally. Like I just liked the sport and we like to lift weights. And everyone was super receptive to just getting free shirts, and they were posting us on their social media. And I was like, man, this is awesome. Like, they love it. My brother's like, everyone loves you. You're giving them free stuff all the time. I said, it works, whatever works. So
hell
I still feel like that. Like if I write a lifter or a fighter now, or some of the other sports we're in, and they say, yeah, I'll take some free gear, man, I get excited to send anyone out like a package of our stuff.
So I guess it would kind of feel like, and I imagine the guys that are getting these, the shirts from you, for support from you, they resonate with this brand as well. So that's got to be a pretty cool feeling as an owner there. You know, they're not just wearing it because it's, you know, it's a nice new blue shirt, but they fucking love the message behind it as well.
Yeah, they really relate, which is another thing I think about too, because I've always liked apparel or t-shirts. I love shoes. Like I love Vans and Adidas and all these other brands that are different than Can. And so you kind of, in some ways you're like, oh, I'd like to be a cool lifestyle brand, or I'd like to do this or that. But then I get like, we're kind of like, our brand's not about that type of life. Like we're about like blue collar grinders, fighters, guys that are like in the middle of some real struggles in life to overcome. And so I just try to stay like what we're about as a brand, even though I have like admiration for these other types of brands or style of clothing. Like, 8-Man is not about that. Our guys and girls are different.
100%. Do you find it easy to keep your merch in that kind of lane and zone, or do you ever find yourself maybe creeping to go in other directions, but you just bring yourself back to that original message?
I do find myself creeping in other directions, only because for me, and probably my brother too, like 8-Man has been like this arc of like our lives, like where we started out in 08, and then where I was in 08, and then it started like these messages in 2014, and then kind of like you kind of sometimes get some of that anger out in the gym and some of that frustration, and then you're like in this new level of like, well, now I'm doing this weightlifting or fighting or running, whatever sport it is, because I just love it and I like it. It's a therapy for me, and I'm like passionate about it. So then some of our shirts kind of started going into like this rebirth or this persevere or this strong love, or I did this 21 grams. So like, it's still the same type of person, but I feel like you're somewhere in this circle of strength, which is like you're angry and frustrated, then you're kind of doing it out of passion, then it's kind of making you a better and happier person. You know what I mean? So we're just trying to, we keep all that apparel even from the first year. I don't really pull it off of the site because I figure
That's
there's
cool.
people in every stage of kind of that arc that we've done. And so I'm trying to just, wherever you're at, I want it to resonate with you know, something in our line to resonate with people.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. So you always, I guess, remembering your roots and where you started, and you know, people who pick up your brand for the first time, that they might be in that headspace where you guys were when you first started, and they get to go on that journey, same journey that you guys went on as well, which is kind of cool.
Right. Like I said earlier, now I feel a little bit like I'm getting back to that original headspace. Like, you know, it's frustrating. Like you just, I don't know. So I feel like I'm just always writing. So like I write all the shirts and the quotes and the words, and like that's kind of my area. I come up with all that stuff. My brother does all the art. He's like artistic on the computer and stuff, and the logo work. And so we're a good team in that way. But yeah, I'm always just kind of writing where I'm at, I guess, in any given month. I'll try to do a shirt or something about that.
Yeah, it's pretty much, you know, it sounds like there's a little bit of you in every shirt and a little bit of your brother in every single shirt, essentially.
Right. And so sometimes I'll get inspired because as the brand has grown, the messages that we get on our social media, on email, just from people and some of the struggles or battles they've had in life that are really like tragic events, or they're in the middle maybe of some illness now, and it's like requiring all the strength you have as a person to overcome it, both physically and mentally. That will inspire my writings, because then I go, geez, like there's some people that have like really gone through serious battles in life as a person. And I luckily, I mean, I've had like ups and downs in life, but I haven't. You always go, man, I'm pretty lucky, like compared to like some of the messages that I get. And then I go, man, and they're looking at us and me or my brand or my brother, like as like helping them get through it. And then you feel a responsibility to keep those messages coming out that are positive, that are inspirational, to write them back something that like resonates for them. Like, oh, this, you know, because you care about everyone that writes you get like almost emotionally attached to when it's your brand.
Absolutely.
So some of that gets heavy. You know what I mean? Like it will change my mood for a week or two, especially like really heavy messages. It'll change my writing or direction. So I get inspiration there.
That's good. It must be a pretty rewarding experience, you know, to open an Instagram message or an email that says, really appreciate your shirt. When I put that thing on, it's like a piece of armor for me. It helped me get through X, Y, and Z. And now things are fucking excellent. Like that must be really cool. Like that must push you guys along to just keep moving this fucking brand along, right?
Yeah, that's like the best part. I tell people that all the time. And unless you've had a business, or unless you are inspired by those type of things too in your life in business, like you don't understand what I'm saying maybe sometimes, but because people, I think a lot of people get into business or they get into sales or they start something, they think about money or financial, right? Like that's motivation. And you obviously have to like focus on that on some level. Like you want to be profitable and stay around. But boy, when I focus on those messages and I focus on, geez, we're doing something like really meaningful for people as a brand, and now it's meaningful for me. So we're kind of a community together, the customer for me. It's so much more rewarding than the financial. And when you focus on helping people, the finances kind of take care of themselves.
100%. There's a quote I love, and I'll probably butcher it, but it's something like focusing on money will be the end of all business. Something like that. And for me personally, I feel the same when it looks after just general clients or anything at the gym. You know, I know, and you see it with other coaches as well. You know, they're always like, yeah, one more client, this much money, one more client, this much money. They're the ones that never keep going. Right. You know, if you genuinely love people and looking after people, and you're like, man, I just want to help another person this week, you know, then it just comes naturally, I find as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you can find what you're passionate about, and it's in some way helping someone or something that's lacking in society, or you're going to be successful. Then you're going to be passionate about it. You're going to continue to want to do it. Yeah, people are in it for the money, and then you have a bad month or two or a quarter or a year, you're out, right? You go on to something else. But if you're in it really for, it means something to you and you're passionate about it, you stick through those things.
Yeah, 100%. Man, for starting, I mean, you've obviously, I think I watched the video and it said your finance company and stuff you used to own yourself. So you had a little bit of experience, obviously, with owning and running your own business. What was it like taking that plunge to go a complete shift from finance and real estate to we're doing shirts now?
It was, yeah, that was kind of crazy to start. So my brother had started this t-shirt printing business where he was doing just screen printing for companies like your gym shirts or landscapers or whatever. So he
Yep.
had the experience shirt wise, and he's been doing this forever. So for him, I think he was kind of tired of just doing everyone else's apparel and printing shirts all day. So
Yep.
he was looking for a change in some way. But for me, I can speak on mine. So I'm doing real estate in Scottsdale, which is a totally separate side of town from where our building is here now. So
Yep.
I'm going to Scottsdale. I'm carrying my briefcase. I'm in a suit every day. Like I'm all like about this life. And then all of a sudden I'm over here in this building. The building that we're in now was built in the 60s, and my grandfather ran an auto part distributing company out of it. So it's very like
That's
industrial down here.
yeah, yeah.
Like you don't want to be down here at night, to be honest with you. Like some area is sketchy. And now I'm down here, like you're saying, our building is like cooler, so it's not air conditioned, which like today
Yeah.
it's 108 degrees here. So it's like I'm sweating, I'm like in a t-shirt, I'm like on cement floors, like just printing shirts all day. It was a big change.
Yep.
But I think it's more of who I am, to be honest with you.
Yep.
Like I grew up over here. Me and my brother grew up like
Yeah.
4 or 5 miles from where we work now. So
Yeah, yeah.
it was kind of like getting back to really who I was or who I'm supposed to be, which is just
Yep.
like connecting with people, lifting weights,
Yep.
doing inspirational stuff and all. And the real estate and the kind of the white collar world, and like,
Yeah.
I mean, I can fit into that and I enjoyed it on some level, but it really wasn't to my core, like what I'm comfortable doing, or didn't love it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense to you. So
Yeah.
it was a big change. Like I
Yeah.
remember, so in the other company, I had a business partner named Don, who I'm still great friends with, and we were members of this gym over there. It was called the Village, and it's where all
Yep.
like the sports celebrities worked out, and like
Yep.
Charles Barkley was there, and I've seen
Yep.
Mike Tyson in there. I remember working out with my partner in there, and this is before I had Apeman. And we come
Yeah.
out of it, we're having our smoothies coming out of the gym in our little ties. We get in our nice little cars, and he goes, "Look at us, we're total, like basically wusses. Like, what are we doing in our lives? Like, look how weak we are." Yeah, we were like little white collar yuppie guys, and like
Yeah.
living
How
our
did the fuck did we end up here?
because he's from New Jersey, and he's kind of like the same, kind of where I grew up here. He grew up on the East Coast, and like,
Yep.
yeah. So we were both like, "What the hell are we doing with our lives? Like, how did we end up like this?" But I'm much happier doing this. With my brother every day too. And then our dad, who's retired, started showing up down here every day. I think just to get on payroll. I don't know what he just comes every day. So now he's with us, and he folds shirts in the back, and so it's kind of like a family.
That's the best, bro.
Dude, I know.
So he sort of forced himself a job with you boys.
That's what we said the other day, because it's been several years now. But I go, how come Dad just started showing up here, and then we just had to put him on payroll because he was here every day, just like working. Like no one hired him, he started coming. So yeah, it's like that part's cool. And like in the summer here, my son's been coming down almost every day with me. He's a senior in high school. And then my brother's kids and my daughter here, like we have the whole family out here in the lobby today working because they don't start school till next week. So some of that's been nice. Like in my former life, that would have never happened. I was all like, no family in the office. I'm all business here. Like I have clients coming in. It was just different. It wasn't, I don't know, it was different,
Yeah, man. And by the sounds of it, I mean, this sounds like you, bro. Like that must be a cool experience. You know, at lunchtime you're kicking around with your dad after folding some shirts. You got your son helping out.
Right.
He's seeing what you're doing. Like that must be a pretty cool experience for a day at work. I mean, we're not working.
Yeah, it's so much. Yeah, it's so much more, again, meaningful. Even that part of this company or this career. It's like with my family every day, and yeah, like even when I leave here sometimes. So part of the writing that I do on all the shirts, I leave here and I go north, like I said, 4 or 5 miles where we grew up, and I'll get out of my car at our old grade school where we went to grade school, my brother and I, and I'll walk around like the park, and I do a lot of my writings at night where I grew up because I just feel kind of connected to that same mentality or my old self in that old neighborhood. So I still like now go by there like several times a week, a lot of times. And it's just kind of like grounds me or centers me to be back there for just an hour at night or something like that.
Yeah. Man, do you this might be going back a little bit, but do you remember sort of walking the street or going to a gym or going to a powerlifting meet and seeing the first person you'd never met wearing your shirt and what that was like?
Yeah, so we went to an event in Las Vegas. It was the national meet for, they called them nationals for USPA here. And we had sponsored a kid named Luigi and given him shirts, and then he had like our shirt on and he had our logo on his singlet, and he was up on the like competing. And then these other powerlifters were like, "Hey, what's that 8-man?" And he started passing our shirts backstage. Then they were wearing them after the meet. Like, damn, like everyone's wearing our shirts. And then after that, like I reached out to some big names like Brandon Lilly and Eric Lillibridge, and they said, "Yeah, send me shirts." And I was like, "Holy shit!" Like the biggest names in the sport are gonna be wearing the shirt. So yeah, it was really cool to see that. And then probably within that same year, we went to the LA Fit Expo, which was also a USPA meet. And then I had like 4 or 5 lifters in our singlets and stuff on that stage, and that was like almost like we'd arrived a little bit. Like, oh shit, like we're like got a decent following now. I'm like a lot of people. So
no, that's pretty cool. It must be pretty cool experience to be able to, you know, help health athletes as well, you know, in obscure sport like powerlifting, even just being able to give them a shirt or a one piece so they can lift on the day. That's nice and generous, and that's pretty good for everybody, I think, bro.
Yeah, like I think like there's, you know, well, you know, you do this sport, unless you own a gym or something, there's like no money in it for these guys. They're paying to fly to Vegas to compete in those type of meets. There's like very limited prize money. You're really risking your health in a lot of ways, like especially these huge, powerful dudes that are getting under 800, 900,000 pound squats. Like you can, I mean, you could ruin your life in like a one wrong squat, right? So
you get fucked up
really bad. So like you're risking your health, and even if you don't get hurt, maybe on the lift, like the long-term effects of powerlifting on your body, like you're really doing it for the love of the sport more than anything. So to be a brand involved in that type of sport and to be able to give back on some level to some of the lifters that are just doing it out of sheer love is like, yeah, that's awesome.
That's unreal, bro. And what about for you? Yeah, dude. What about for yourself? If you still got the little gym set up in the shed there, do you guys still get to bang around with a bit of tin?
So it's not as cool as it once was. I thought it was going to be better, but it's not. So we used to have the front of this building was totally unfinished. So there was like no power. There was no, like, if you look at my walls now, they're like drywalled and there's a ceiling. It was block wall. It was like a ceiling. We had to put a lamp in there with an extension cord to have light. And there was no air or anything, no coolers, nothing. It was hot as hell. And so when we took over this entire building a couple years ago, we like refinished the entire lobby where the gym used to be. And we moved the gym all the way to the back, where now we have mats, and we have a big cooler back there, and it's like painted and nice. So it's much nicer. Like I miss just that, like just that the raw gym and just like weight, and they were all metal and there was no air and you'd sweat your ass off, and it was like, it's funny, like you want these things in life, and then when you get them, you always look back and go, man, it was like so great back then. Like I didn't recognize what a cool time that was, because you're just trying to get forward sometimes, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And have you ever yourself personally jumped in a powerlifting meet, part of this journey you've been on?
No, so I would have to compete USAPL because I've always done everything. I'm all natural my whole life. So I've never done it, but we've hosted meets here. And then my brother and I were training to do a meet, and this was maybe like a couple years ago, before like all this stuff went down with like everything got shut down. But I've never even competed. Like originally, that's how we got interested in powerlifting. I told my brother, like, I'm going to compete in powerlifting, and I'm going to, because I didn't know anything about powerlifting. This was like 6 years ago. And I'm gonna set like the state record for bench
Yep.
press and like these type of things you're interested
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
And then the brand started going, and we started sponsoring like real lifters that were really strong. I was like, well, now I'm just like weekend warrior guy. Like I'm not really gonna compete because I'm seeing like the best of the best, and we're part of our brand. So I've never really done it. The one thing that I do, which is totally unrelated to powerlifting, is I do a lot of running. So I've competed in like ultra marathons and things.
Holy shit.
That, which is totally different. Not easy to do because I'm still like 205 pounds, but
yeah, I was gonna say you look like a heavy lad, bro. Running, what's an ultra for you? That's 100 miles.
Well, yeah. So I've signed up for this 100-mile race in October. We'll see.
Damn.
This last weekend, did a 50K, which is 32 miles. So I've done 100K before, which is 62 miles.
Yep.
So I've done like some decent races, but that was like 10 years ago when I did the 62 miles. I just got back into it like a year ago. Again, during like this COVID time when everything was shut down, like I just started like going out and running on the streets and like got back into that. So
pounding some pavement. Nice.
I just like I get interested in different sports. When we started doing the UFC guys and the Bellator fighters for like a year, I started training like boxing and like that type of stuff with those guys. You know, I just I figure if I'm around powerlifters, we've trained with Ed Cohn. If I'm with fighters, I've trained with Ryan Bader. Like now I'm like running. I might as well take advantage of these people that are like the best in the world and like
absolutely.
Them, you know?
What was it like training with the MMA guys, bro?
Oh my God, man. So I was just talking to Jesse Burdick about this yesterday on text. So, you know, I think as a guy, every guy thinks, oh, I can fight or I can throw a punch or like, oh, if you get me mad enough, I'll kick someone's ass, right? Well, we go train with these guys that are like, well, they're the best in the world, obviously. They're like, every one of them. And it's like, holy shit, I don't know anything about fighting. I get winded and like exhausted after punching for like 15, 20 seconds. I know nothing about like distance. Like they stay where you can't hit them and they're smacking you in the face. Like,
and they look real close to you too. Like, so you should be able to hit them too, right?
You don't have the react. Well, I'm older. I'm gonna be 47 next week. So like, I see the punch coming. I can't get out of the way. It was like a humbling experience, to be honest with you.
And being punched hurts.
Oh man, it's like that's the other thing. It's terrible. Like I don't know how you guys like this sport. Getting punched in the face, it feels terrible. Like no matter what speed it's at, it's like horrible. So it was fun. Like I liked it because again, you get the experience to like kind of get in a cage and spar with world champions almost. I mean, they're going really light, obviously, but it's still you're in there. Yeah. And it was awesome. Like I have such respect for those MMA guys because just like powerlifting, how much dedication you have to 3 lifts. These guys are just as dedicated to like jujitsu and wrestling and boxing and regular boxing and like all these disciplines they have to learn and like. Yeah, it's such a tough sport and they're so fast and agile. Like you don't get that on TV either. When you're watching these guys on TV, you're just like, oh, hit the guy or get out of the way. You know, you're yelling at the fighter, but dude, they're so fast when they're standing in front of you and so elusive. It's like crazy. Yeah.
And the same deal, the end of their training week or day or fight, they're literally, it's their body they've put on the line for that.
Oh man,
for that sport, right? Like,
yeah, like I've been to the weight cuts and the fights with CB Dollaway, who's been in the UFC. Well, now he's in Risen, and then Ryan Bader, who's in Bellator. Yep. Because we sponsor them and they're here in Arizona. Like I go out to the fights with them. I'm like in the training rooms all week while they're doing their training. I'm like, dude, it's like, I don't know how they do that. I mean, seriously, as a friend of theirs and a fan, like I can barely eat fight week. Like you're going to get in the cage and like literally fight a person that's trying to really take you out. Yeah. Dude, it's
properly hurt you.
Their mentality, man. It's like, it's another level. I'll tell you what, man. I would never do that sport. I would not want my kids to do that sport. I just feel like, man, you guys are, you know, again, just like the powerlifting, like you're really risking your health and your future, like every time you step in there.
Absolutely. With that exposure for yourself personally with these new sports as they come along, do you feel the shirt's changing a little bit and some of the messages you get out there as well?
Yeah, 100%. So that's what's funny too. Like the power lifters love like the Lift Angry and Powered by Rage and all these like, and you
Yeah.
the fighters, they're totally opposite of that. They want everything like just the logo and no sayings on the back, and they're like a totally different. You think they'd be like all the same, like I want the fight shirt and I want this and that, but totally different for that market. Like maybe the fans like that stuff, but as far as the athletes we sponsor, they just want it like simple. They love the simplicity of the logo. They just want like, you know, muted colors, totally different than the powerlifting world.
Yep. And part of that sponsorship, do you have those conversations with those athletes so you can really, I guess, get inside their head to see what they like and like what they want, so the people following them will be like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking love this.
Yeah, so with, again, because I'm pretty good friends at this point with both Ryan and CB here locally, I can have those conversations. Like, especially CB, he's been really instrumental in a lot of the MMA stuff we've gotten into. Super nice guy, helped us out the whole time, sending just like early on in powerlifting, he'd be the one to send out, hey, I know this fighter, let's send him shirts, and this fighter and that fighter, and and like we need to develop like this type of look. And I'm trying to develop more, like we did the fight shorts and like rash guards, which is kind of like that Under Armour style stuff for jiu-jitsu. So some of that stuff we're trying to do. But again, it's been hard now with kind of the shutdown of these different factories overseas in Asia. Like everything's been messed up for like over a year now, to be honest with you, in development stuff. It's been hard.
I tell you what I can see, I've got an idea. You'll have your Jits rash guard, but depending on what color belt you have is what color Apeman logo you've got on you.
Ah, look at this. See? Great idea.
What do you reckon?
There you go. I love it.
Put that in the book, bro. I've done a little bit of jits in my time. So
really?
I think,
you know about the fighting then.
Yeah, bro. I mean, even just jits, that's just cuddling each other and choking each other. But once you throw some, that's something else too. But yeah, once you start getting punched, that hurts.
It's terrible. Like after Ryan won his Bellator light heavyweight belt, we went down there like on camera to like film him, and we took a picture. It's on my wall of us with the belt. And he's like, get your gear on, let's go in the cage and spar. And I'm like, all right. He tells my brother to film it without, like, I didn't realize what was going to happen. Well, he starts like just laying it on me for fun, like he's joking. So for me, he put it on his Instagram somewhere. He's like, hit me really in the head. Like I had a headgear on, but that's still, I was like, after about 30 seconds, I knew what he was doing and I stopped. It was like not a fun experience. I can't imagine getting hit in the face full speed with like those little gloves they wear.
Yeah, I think it hurts.
Yeah, I think it would hurt a lot. But it's just like anything else. I can't imagine getting under 1,000 pounds either on a squat. Like that, man. No way.
Hell yeah. What do you think? What's an 8-man ultra marathon running shirt look like?
So we put out one that just says ultra running and it says 8-man down the side. But again, like I run in this style shirt, just the cotton poly mixes or the tri blends, but a lot of those guys want the technical running shirts, which is almost again like that jiu-jitsu style material almost. That'll be a whole nother development for like more of those dry fit shirts or something like that. But in that sport, you know, they wear the water packs and like you almost just get the sleeve logos, all anyone would really see, or something understated again. So everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what a cool experience, because I mean, you're literally trying each of these sports, and that's the brand development as part of your athletic development as well.
Yeah, like I just go after what I'm interested in. Like we've done stuff with boxing too, because I've always loved boxing. I think the brand has to stay in like extreme style sport. That is our mentality. So like, I always thought like, dude, these guys, like I read this book, Ultra Marathon Man, like 10, 15 years ago by Dean Carnazzi, and he ran like 250 miles in one shot. Like he's ran for like 3 days straight and 250, it's like the world record. I'm just like, what the hell type of mental toughness do you have to run for 2 or 3 days with really no sleep at all? They just go.
Yeah, they just keep, mate, I don't like driving 3 days straight.
Yeah, I don't want to be up for 3 days. We started sponsoring this girl, Maggie Turrell, and she's one of the best long distance ultra marathoners in the world. And she did this thing called the Biggs Backyard Ultra Marathon. So it's a 4.1 or 4.2 mile loop, and you have to do it every hour. And so there's like 50 people that say that start, and you run
Yep.
the loop, and you run the loop, and you run the loop, and people just start dropping out, right? Like after like
Fuck.
hours. She did 250 miles or 200 and something miles on that loop, like ran like 40 something hours straight and won the whole thing, beat all the men and everything. But I'm like,
Jesus.
I mean, 4 miles in an hour. I mean, you do have like a little bit of break, but it's like every hour you're starting again. You know what I mean? Like there's no sleep there. I mean, you can eat maybe and like whatever for a second and you're starting the next loop. Like, yeah, that's a whole nother sport that blows me away.
Like that's like the ultimate beep test.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. These people are, so I think you can find all these sports that just have that same mentality as a guy that wants to go deadlift 1,000 pounds or 900 pounds.
Yep.
Like, you have to be all in on the sports that we try to sponsor. Like you have to be a little crazy. I just think I'm attracted to that type of mentality. Like if you do something, I want to see the person that's 100% like into it, not just like kind of doing it.
Just fluffing about. No, that's I think that's so cool. Like people trying to hit 1,000 pounds or that kind of mentality really just carries over to pretty much any sort of extreme sport because you don't have that opportunity to just go half at it.
Yeah, like we met, so like 2 or 3 years, maybe 3-4 years ago now. I'm trying to think how long ago it was. We met Dan Bell out in Chicago at Ed Cone. And this is when Dan Bell and Brandon Allen, and there was a couple other guys, they were all like it. I think they all totaled the same that year, 2,300 or something like that, or 20.
Yeah.
The total was. And then I think Brandon Allen tore his quad, and like some of these other guys, just like whatever, got injured. Well, that Dan Bell was grinding. Now this last year, you see he sets the world record, and he's like gigantic. Yeah. But I mean, that's been like 3 or 4 or 5 years to get 100 pounds on his lifts, whatever he's up to now. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like it's like a grind of 4 years to add like 10 pounds to his bench or whatever he did. But he's
he's
so
still
that
in
type
it.
of stuff is inspiring to me, that you'll just like the work you put in to get another 20 pounds on your lift at that level. You know what I mean?
100%. He must be. I don't know how it crosses over to kilos, but to pounds, but it would look like he's chasing that 1,200 kilo total thereabouts.
Dude, like, he's so big too. We saw him at the Crown this year. Like, that's so big. So I think these guys that are the super heavyweight level are so gigantic, like in width and stuff. Holy crap, like, how do you it's like a cartoon almost, you know what I mean? It's like they don't even look real. They're so
how many X's are in that Apeman shirt to get it on their frame, bro?
That stuff, those guys are gigantic. And we've done stuff with Strongman. We used to sponsor Brian Shaw, who's like 6'8" and like 400 pounds. So he's giant in another way, but these power lifters are like wider than they are tall. They're like
they are human fucking rectangles.
I mean, I thought the same thing when I met. So watching the UFC, you'd look at the height and weight of these guys on the scale, like, oh, he's only 185, or he's, you know what I mean? They seem smaller, but when you meet him in person, that guy that's 185 is actually 6'2", and he walks around at 220. You know what I mean? Like a big size dude.
And shredded.
And lean. That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like abs and everything at 220 pounds at 6'2". I was like, damn, these guys are way bigger than I thought. I mean, obviously the smaller guys are, 155ers aren't that big, but these heavyweights and light heavyweights, and they're big dudes.
Yeah, 100%, bro. Mate, where do you look to the future much? Where do you see Apeman sort of trending for you over the next 5 years, bro?
Yeah, so I think about that all the time, and I have this whiteboard on my office where I have all these ideas right now written down in front of me here, because really, like, it's been awesome to work with the athletes, and I love all the sports we're involved in, and like that part brings me a lot of passion about what we do. But really, like we talked about earlier, kind of like those messages I get of people that are actually overcoming in their lives and persevering through things, and a lot of the charity stuff that we work with, and we're doing more stuff this year with our foundation with like kids with cancer and kids that have been abused, and more kid work. Like, I just see the brand growing in those ways. If I could just do charitable type work all the time and like donate money to different causes or organizations that I think are doing great in the world with like helping people that have given a bad hand health wise or been abused
Yep.
in some manner. Like I would love to do that more and more with the brand and grow it in that
Yep.
way. And honestly, like I'm trying to, and we've tried from the start to like, because originally people thought of 8-Man as like physically strong and huge people in powerlifting, which is what we are and we were. But I would like anyone in their life that is really in a dark place or again trying to overcome something major to like want to put on that 8-Man brand and like buy into that mentality of like carrying through the darkness for yourself, no matter what. It doesn't have to be about moving weight, right? It can be about anything in your life. So really the focus of the brand is to move it more into that space in people's lives. Like whatever you have a grandfather that's in the hospital of cancer, you send him an 8-Man shirt, right? It doesn't have to be a fighter. It can be anybody. Or, we do a lot of stuff with Phoenix Children's Hospital here. We do a lot of care packages. We haven't been able to do it during COVID. They stopped taking care packages, but we used to. Every month or two, we donate like 200 packages of like little stringer bags and little 8-Man shirts and beanies for kids that are in chemo and stuff like that.
That's unreal.
That type of stuff's awesome to me, to see the pictures come back from their parents of the kid in the 8-Man shirt and like to see what those kids are really going through, like health wise with cancer and things like that. It's like, holy smokes, like
that's a real challenge.
The strength that child has, and then the strength that parents have to be in the middle of that fight with them. It's like so like for me, that's more of the stuff I would love to focus on as a brand. Like how can we do more in those type of markets, helping those type of people and kids. But it's hard because again, you still have to focus on people wanting to buy your shirts and raising money through those sales to be able to put it over here into these things. So it's a balance.
That's an incredible mindset. I think we try and do something similar with our gym because we do some shirts there as well. But I don't think enough people do that. Like I think as a business owner, if we're in a position to influence or help others, we should be. And I think if more people had that mindset like yourself, would be unbelievable.
No, I agree. And like we talked about earlier, it's so rewarding in that way. Personally. So it's not even like I'm doing it because it makes me feel good in a lot of ways, which, it's like if everyone, I think it would make everyone feel good if you just did it a little bit more,
100%. I mean? And it's easy to do, right? Like you put together these little packages for you, which probably don't take too much time to send it down to the local hospital, but that experience for that child and that parent to be able to get that shirt would just be priceless for them. Yeah,
I saw that. So St. Jude's is a hospital here. I don't know if you have it in Australia, St. Jude's, but they're a big hospital that does all kinds of cancer stuff. For kids. And I was watching this last night. My son and I were watching TV, and a commercial came on. And I've been focused like this last week. There's a lot of news here in the U.S. about COVID and the vaccines and like all this stuff that people are, nervous about or stressed about. And I'm watching these kids with cancer, and like I'm like, man. I'm focused on like worried about COVID or whatever, people around me are. And it's like, there's kids that are battling like literally like 50% survival rates, less than that, these cancers. Like I just need to keep my focus on that type of stuff as a brand and not get myself bogged down and being worried about, are they going to lock us down again for another 2 weeks or not? Like there's some people that are really, really facing like death. You know what I mean? And like they're young. Like we should really still stay focused on those type of things.
100%, bro. I think too often everyone's worrying about the little things when there's people actually going through some real stuff that they could really help and do some great stuff for, right?
So I said it to my son. I go, man, like, listen, I don't want to catch anything like Corona and possibly pass away and stuff, but I'm 47 years old. Like I've had a great life and I've done amazing stuff and I've enjoyed it. Like there's kids that are like literally facing death at 5 and 6 years old have had no life. Like that's really should be what my focus is on and like the brand is about and those type of things. So I don't know. That's just kind of what I've been thinking lately with all this stuff going on.
Right. And I have no doubt just from chatting to you now, like a huge amount of your energy will go in that direction and there'll be money raised to be able to do some pretty cool stuff in that space.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping. I mean, that's what I enjoy. So
Sick, mate. I love what you do, bro. Mate, what I'll do is we have 10 questions for you. They
oh,
are incredibly random.
no.
We're
Okay.
going all sorts of places and they're rapid fire. And what I'm
Oh
going to
man,
do,
now I'm getting stressed. I just like to talk at my own pace.
well, what part of this is I want to build stress. I really want you thinking on your feet. Now, are you ready for this
I
10
guess I have to
questions?
be. All right.
What fear would you like to overcome?
What fear would I like to overcome? So I have my only real fear is claustrophobia, like being in a closed space. So if I could overcome that fear, I would feel much better because I am like panicked about being trapped somewhere at some point in my life. I hate elevators, all that type of stuff. So I'd like to
Oh,
overcome
fuck.
that.
I like it. Now, this is a two-part question. First part of the question, who is your best friend and what is their name?
I'd say my best friend's my son, Addison.
Okay, so this is a little bit of a crazy one. Addison's just been kidnapped. You're going to drop some rent. Yeah, you're going to drop some ransom money off for him. He's going to be all okay at the end of this. But what song are you going to listen to driving on the way to drop off the money?
A song to drop off the ransom money?
Yeah.
Jump Around by House of Pain.
I like it.
That's
What
kind of
did you
like a pump-up song in case I got to fight when I get there.
Here we fucking go.
You know what I mean? In case I got to be like, here to go.
Mate, what did you think you're going to be when you left school?
You mean college or like when I was young going to school?
Yeah, let's go. School, like high school.
I wanted to be an attorney. I was originally going to go to law school. I thought it'd be fun to be like an attorney of some kind. So originally, but then I went to college and like my first semester, I got straight C's, and I go, I'm not going to be an attorney, I guess.
Bam, that's over.
In college, I was going to be a psychology major for like a year.
Oh, wow.
Psychology and political science, and I was going to be like a psychologist. I was interested in already like this mentality and things like that. So
Yep.
Yeah, and then somehow I migrated over to business. So I graduated with a marketing degree in business. So I knew I was going to do something sales-wise, marketing and business once I came out of college.
Yep. And now you've landed right where you should be, I think.
Yep.
What skill would you like to learn next?
What skill would I like to learn next? See, this is something you know what? I got one because I've been practicing right now. My grandparents, I have my grandparents' grand piano now in our lobby.
Oh, that's cool. So
I've been practicing on the piano, just self-taught with YouTube, like different songs so I can play the piano. People come in here like I'm kind of multi-talented, although I'm not very good on it. So I would say the piano out in the lobby would be something the next skill I'd like to learn.
I like it, bro. Now, what makes you grumpy?
You know what? As like social as I can be and like interacting with people, I need a lot of alone time. I think that's why I like running. I do trail running. Like I'm out there by myself in the desert. I love to go to my old neighborhood after work and walk around by myself. Like if I don't have alone time, if I have people around me all the time at home or here, both, like I will start getting in a bad mood after a couple of days of that. I need some space.
Need some quiet time.
Yeah. I'm a loner, like in life. Like I like to be alone a lot.
I like it, man. What's one of your most embarrassing moments?
My most embarrassing moment. Damn, man, I have to go back far probably for something like that. So, geez, man. I don't even know. I can't even think what you know what? I got one in this building over here. I was a little kid. So we own two buildings here. The one that we manufacture and then one next door is our inventory building. And when I was a little kid, my grandfather and my dad worked over here in the building next to us. And I was like probably 5 or 6 years old. And I came into the building to see my dad. And I'm talking at the counter, all the employees working there. And my dad behind me and depantses me. Why he would do this to a kid that's 6, I have no idea. And I had no underwear on. So he And I'm standing there like this, like 6 years old, completely naked in front of like the women working there and the guys. It's still traumatizing to this day.
That's the best. Well, now that he's working there, bro, you might have to get him back.
I go, dude, what were you thinking? He goes, I didn't know you were a commando. I go, what's this? Like, even if I have on underwear, like, why would you depants your son in front of everyone at work?
I love it, bro. Mate, question number 7. What is your most proud moment?
I don't know if it's a moment, but I would probably say this company, because when
Absolutely.
I lost my last company and went through those kind of financial hardships, and like I was just in a low emotional place, like depressed, just sitting in my car doing nothing, didn't know, just a really dark time for me as a man. I think like losing a business, it just like was my identity, that real estate company I had. I didn't really lose it, but I kind of basically shut it down. So I mean, in a way, like, I guess now sometimes looking back at coming through that and starting this business that has so much meaning for me and then has meaning for a lot of people that are part of our community, like I think that's probably my proudest part of my life. I don't know if it's a moment, but to me, like looking back at that dark period and then coming out of it, I go, well, I always say now, if it happens again, I've done it before, so I'll just do something else.
Just go again, bro.
So I don't know.
I like it, bro. Now, do you own a boat? And if not, if you bought a boat, what would you call it?
Okay, I don't own a boat at all.
Yep.
I don't own a boat at all. And
But you're
bought a boat.
What would you name it?
I would be like really like a yacht where I'm out in the ocean where I can get away. Like I wouldn't buy a boat. I'm not really like a lake guy.
Yeah.
So I'd have to buy a boat for the ocean that I could.
Yep. We need a big boat.
Need a big boat, and I'm out in the ocean with this thing, so it's got to have a name that just matches. Like,
yeah.
Man, I'm stuck on that one. I don't know what to call that boat.
Cool. Lift Angry.
I can't call it the Lift Angry. Tino, I like the boat name, man. Now you got me here. Because I wanted to be
Mate, you might have to put that on the whiteboard, mate, as things you want in the next 5 years. A boat, but to be named.
That's like called the Getaway, maybe, or something. I don't know. Maybe the Getaway.
I like that. Mate, who is the messiest person you know? Time to throw someone under the bus.
The messiest person I know. God, first, I don't have many friends. Like I said, I'm a loner. So I'm going to go. Who is the messiest person I know? I had a cousin. I don't want to say his name, so I'm going to get in trouble. But we had a cousin, my brother and I, whose like entire house was like a disgusting, gross disaster. And we couldn't even go over there and sit. Like you just stand because you didn't want to sit on shit over there, or like
fuck.
You just want to like stand like this right there the whole time. To lay down.
But if this cousin is listening, they know who you are.
Yeah, okay.
But this question might even be connected to that last question, so you can put them back under the bus if you like. It is, what is the worst smell you've ever smelled?
Oh, the worst. When I was in high school, my mother remarried a guy, and I liked the guy, but he one time was going to make his own turkey like soup or something like this. So he like had the turkey neck and like so he had all parts in a bowl on our kitchen stove, like simmering or whatever he was doing with it.
Yeah.
Went to bed and left it on, and the thing water, and then just started like smoldering up this like turkey neck and like whatever the spices were, and it like destroyed the smell in the entire house. It smelled like this horrible like dead animal in the whole house for like weeks. It was horrible.
God damn, you'll never forget that.
I don't even know what was in, because turkey you would think would smell like that, but whatever happened in there and burned overnight was like awful. And we all woke up. It was like crap, man. It was terrible.
Nasty, bro. Well, Mr. Attenborough, mate, you have nailed your 10 questions. You've nailed this, mate. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you on and share your experience and learn more about this incredible brand, Apeman. Mate, I think it's super important. Where can everyone find you? It's obviously clearly Apeman, but we'll do the plug while we got you.
So everything is Apeman Strong. 8manstrong.com is our website. At 8Man Strong for Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all those type of social medias. Everything is under 8Man Strong.
Yeah, mate, I love it, mate. All I can say is, mate, please keep doing what you're doing, mate. It is incredible across all the fields. The message you have out there, mate. Absolutely, our guys at our gym love wearing the gear, mate. It's awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you having me on. It's nice.
Yeah, bro, mate.
Mate,
it's awesome. Yeah, mate. I can tell you, it's Friday. You're still Thursday. Friday is just lovely, brother.
All right.
Awesome, man. I'll chat to you very soon. Thanks for coming on, bro.
Guys, we'll see you later.
See you, my man.